That person who broke your heart, you chose them. That family member who drives you insane, you selected them before birth. That soulmate you're desperately searching for, you've already made an agreement to find each other. What I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you think you know about relationships and destiny. In the vast corridors of existence, before the first breath is drawn, before the heart beats its inaugural rhythm, there lies a realm where choices are made, choices that will echo through an entire lifetime. What if I told you that every person who has ever hurt you, loved you, challenged you, or transformed you was part of a sacred agreement made long before you entered this world? What if the very family you were born into, the soulmate you're destined to meet, the enemies who will test your resolve, were all chosen by you, in a place beyond the veil of ordinary consciousness? This is the hidden truth about soul contracts. Ancient wisdom keepers have whispered of it for millennia. Mystics have glimpsed it in their deepest meditations. Shamans have journeyed to these realms and returned with fragments of memory. And now, as humanity awakens to higher consciousness, the veil grows thin enough for us to peer behind it and witness the profound orchestration of our earthly experiences. But beware, once you understand this truth, you can never see your relationships the same way again. The anger you hold toward that difficult parent, the resentment toward the lover who left, the confusion about why certain people trigger you so intensely, all of it will transform into something far more profound and mysterious. Picture, if you will, a vast amphitheater of light, not built of stone or wood, but woven from pure consciousness itself. The architecture defies earthly understanding, crystalline structures that pulse with living energy, geometric forms that shift and dance according to the vibrations of those present. Here, in this sacred space that exists between worlds, souls gather before their earthly incarnation. They call it many names: the Council of Souls, the Pre-Birth Assembly, the Chamber of Sacred Agreements, the Hall of Destiny Weavers. You sit there not in flesh but as pure awareness. Your essence radiates colors that have no names in human language, frequencies that speak to the depths of who you truly are. Around you, other luminous beings gather, some familiar from countless lifetimes together, some strangers who will become the most important people in your upcoming journey. The air itself pulses with intention, with purpose, with love so profound it transcends every human understanding of what love could possibly be. In this place there is no time as we know it. Past, present and future dance together like streams of light weaving through space. You can see all your potential lifetimes stretching out before you, like threads in an infinite tapestry of possibility. Some threads shine with joy and accomplishment, others appear dark with challenge and struggle, but all of them gleam with the potential for growth, understanding, and the evolution of consciousness itself. From this vantage point, with wisdom unclouded by human limitations, free from the fears and desires that will cloud your earthly vision, you begin to choose. But these aren't casual selections, like picking items from a cosmic menu. These are profound decisions made with the weight of eternity behind them, choices that will ripple through dimensions and affect not just your own evolution, but the evolution of every soul you'll encounter. The beings of light who serve as guides in this realm don't make these choices for you. They simply hold space, radiating unconditional love and wisdom, offering counsel when requested. They've witnessed countless souls make these pre-incarnation decisions, and they understand the sacred gravity of what's unfolding. But why would a soul choose difficulty? Why would you select parents who might not understand your deepest nature? Why would you agree to meet someone who will break your heart into 1,000 pieces before teaching you how to love more completely than you ever imagined possible? Why would you choose to incarnate in circumstances that will challenge every fiber of your being? The answer lies in something far more mysterious than mere coincidence, far more profound than random chance. It lies in the sacred mathematics of spiritual growth, in the elegant equations of consciousness evolution that govern the expansion of awareness itself. Every soul carries within it what ancient traditions call karmic imprints, patterns of energy that seek resolution, understanding, completion. These aren't punishments handed down by some cosmic judge, but rather unfinished symphonies waiting for their final notes. incomplete equations seeking their solution, works of art that require one more brushstroke to achieve perfection. These imprints are like magnetic signatures, invisible to human perception, but radiant and unmistakable in the realm of souls. They create attractions and repulsions, drawing certain souls together while creating distance from others. They hold the memory of every interaction, every lesson learned and unlearned, every moment of love given and received across the vast expanse of existence. When souls gather in the pre-birth realm, they recognize each other not by the personalities they'll adopt or the bodies they'll inhabit, but by these energetic signatures that pulse with the truth of who they really are. A soul who once served as your teacher in ancient Egypt recognizes the student they must guide again in modern times. A soul who was your adversary in medieval Europe sees the opportunity to transform that conflict into wisdom and mutual understanding. A soul who shared lifetimes of love with you feels the magnetic pull of reunion, knowing that your combined energies create something greater than either could achieve alone. The family contract is perhaps the most complex and intricate of all agreements. The popular belief that we simply choose parents who will love us unconditionally and support all our dreams is a beautiful fantasy, but it barely scratches the surface of these profound arrangements. Sometimes, the most loving thing a soul can do is agree to be the parent who challenges you, who pushes against your comfort zone, who refuses to enable your limitations, who loves you enough to let you struggle and find your own strength. The soul that becomes your critical parent might be offering you the gift of developing unshakable self-worth that doesn't depend on external approval. The soul that becomes your emotionally distant father might be teaching you to find the nurturing within yourself, to become the parent to your own inner child that you always needed. The soul that becomes your overprotective mother might be showing you the difference between love and fear, teaching you to choose courage over safety when your soul's growth demands it. These contracts are written in a language older than words, more precise than mathematics, more beautiful than music, a language of energy, intention, and sacred purpose that speaks directly to the essence of what we are. They account for every possibility, every potential outcome, every lesson that might emerge from the intricate dance of relationship that's about to unfold in physical reality. But perhaps the most intriguing, complex, and transformative agreements of all are those we make with our soulmates. Contracts that span dimensions and defy every conventional understanding of love and destiny. The word soulmate has been diluted by romantic fairy tales and Hollywood fantasies, reduced to the idea of someone who completes you, who makes everything easy, who fits perfectly into your life like a missing puzzle piece. But its true meaning runs deeper than candlelit dinners and perfect compatibility, more mysterious than love at first sight, more transformative than any earthly romance could possibly be. Our soulmate is a soul with whom you have shared multiple lifetimes, creating bonds that transcend the physical realm, connections that exist in dimensions where time has no meaning, and love knows no boundaries. These are souls who have walked beside you through the ages, sometimes as lovers, sometimes as friends, sometimes as family members, sometimes even as enemies who challenged you to grow beyond your perceived limitations. In the Council of Souls, when two such beings recognize each other, something extraordinary happens. The very fabric of reality seems to shimmer with recognition, as if the universe itself is celebrating this reunion. Colors become more vibrant, frequencies harmonize in ways that create new octaves of existence, and the other souls present pause in their own planning to witness the sacred moment of soulmate recognition. These souls don't just agree to find each other in the coming lifetime. They craft intricate, elaborate scenarios for their meeting that would put the most creative screenwriter to shame. They consider every detail, every possibility, every potential obstacle that might prevent their connection. They plan backup scenarios and alternative routes, knowing that free will might interfere with their carefully laid plans. Sometimes they choose to be born on opposite sides of the world, agreeing to a lifetime of searching, of following subtle signs and synchronicities, of trusting that the invisible threads connecting their hearts will eventually lead them to each other. The soul that will become your soulmate might agree to be born 20 years before you, waiting patiently through decades of preparation, for the moment when you're both ready for the profound transformation their presence will bring to your life. Sometimes, they choose to meet early in life but part ways, each needing to walk separate paths of growth and self-discovery before they can come together in the fullness of who they're meant to be. That first love who disappeared from your life without explanation might be waiting for you to become who you need to be before they can return as the person you're meant to spend your life with. And sometimes, in the most powerful soulmate contracts, they agree to love each other so completely, so unconditionally, so transformatively, that their union becomes a beacon of possibility for others. These couples become living examples of what's possible when two souls recognize their eternal connection and choose to honor it in physical form. But here's what the romantics don't tell you, what the fairy tales conveniently leave out. Soulmate contracts often include the agreement to challenge each other profoundly. Your soulmate might be the person who triggers your deepest fears, who holds up a mirror to your shadow, who sees through every mask you wear and loves the truth of who you are so completely that they refuse to enable your illusions about yourself. The soul that becomes your greatest love might first appear as your greatest obstacle, your most challenging teacher, the person who disrupts your carefully constructed life and forces you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself and what you wanted. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, inexplicable connection that defied all logic? Have you ever walked into a place you've never been and felt overwhelmingly that you were home, that every cell in your body was singing with recognition? Have you ever looked into the eyes of a family member and seen something ancient looking back at you, something that seemed far older and wiser than their earthly personality? These are whispers of soul recognition, glimpses of contracts made before birth, echoes of agreements forged in the realm of eternal consciousness. They're cracks in the veil of forgetfulness that allows us to function in human form, momentary remembrances of the vast tapestry of connection that binds us all together across time and space. Karmic families are groups of souls who have chosen to incarnate together repeatedly, playing different roles across lifetimes, like actors in an eternal drama. But unlike theatrical performances, these roles serve the purpose of spiritual evolution, each lifetime offering new opportunities for growth, healing, understanding, and the resolution of ancient patterns. The soul who is your mother in this life might have been your child in ancient Greece, your sibling in medieval times, your best friend in the Renaissance, your spouse in the Victorian era. The soul who is your difficult teenager now might have been your stern parent in a previous incarnation, giving you the opportunity to understand their perspective, to heal old wounds, to transform judgment into compassion. The friend who understands you without words, who can finish your sentences and sense your moods from across the room, might have been your teacher in Atlantis, your student in ancient India, your partner in countless adventures across the ages. The connection you feel isn't just chemistry or compatibility, it's the recognition of a soul you've danced with through eternity. These soul groups work together across time like master craftsmen, collaborating on a work of art that spans millennia. Each lifetime adds new brushstrokes, new colors, new dimensions to the masterpiece they're creating together. They help each other evolve, learn, and remember their true nature through the intricate interplay of relationship, through the sacred dance of giving and receiving, challenging and supporting, teaching and learning. When you feel that instant bond with someone, when you feel like you've known them forever, when being with them feels like coming home to yourself, you probably have known them forever. Your soul is recognizing a traveling companion, a fellow adventurer in consciousness, a co-creator in the grand experiment of existence. But not all karmic connections are pleasant or easy to navigate. Sometimes we agree to incarnate with souls who will serve as our spiritual opponents, our cosmic teachers disguised as adversaries. These are the people who seem to know exactly which buttons to push, who challenge us at every turn, who force us to dig deep and find strength and wisdom we didn't know we possessed. Even these difficult relationships are sacred contracts, chosen with love and wisdom that extends far beyond human understanding. The soul that agrees to be your enemy, your betrayer, your greatest challenger, is making a profound sacrifice. taking on a role that will cost them reputation, peace, and often the chance for easy relationships with others. They agree to bear the weight of your anger, your resentment, your judgment, all in service of your spiritual growth. How do you recognize these pre-birth agreements playing out in your life? The signs are subtle but unmistakable to those who know how to look, scattered like breadcrumbs along the path of your relationships, waiting for your awareness to develop enough to perceive their deeper meaning. There's the phenomenon of instant knowing, meeting someone for the first time yet feeling like you can see directly into their soul, understanding their essence in ways that should be impossible, given your brief acquaintance. This recognition often comes with a sense of profound relief, as if some part of you has been holding its breath, waiting for this reunion. There's the experience of effortless communication that transcends words, finishing each other's sentences, understanding complex emotions with a single glance, feeling each other's feelings across vast distances as if you shared the same nervous system. These connections often include what psychologists call twin speak, a private language of gestures, expressions, and subtle communications that develop naturally between souls who have shared countless lifetimes together. Sometimes, soul recognition comes through dreams that feel more real than waking life. You dream of places you've never been, with people you've never met, living out scenarios that feel achingly familiar, experiencing emotions and connections so vivid that you wake up searching for these dream companions in your physical reality. These dreams often occur before you meet the person in waking life, as if your soul is preparing you for the encounter. You might have recurring dreams of the same person for years, feeling their presence so strongly that you develop a relationship with them in the dream realm, long before your paths cross in the physical world. When you finally meet them, the recognition is instantaneous and overwhelming. This is the person you've been dreaming about, the soul you've been connecting with across dimensions. There are also the challenging recognitions that come with intense emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to your actual relationship. Someone you barely know triggers profound anger, inexplicable sadness, or overwhelming fear. These reactions are often past life memories surfacing, your soul recognizing someone who played a significant role in previous incarnations. The person who makes you feel instantly defensive might be someone who betrayed you in another lifetime. The individual who fills you with inexplicable sadness might be someone you lost, tragically, in a previous incarnation. The person who triggers your deepest fears might be reflecting back patterns you're here to heal, wounds you're here to transform into wisdom. The most profound recognition often comes through the eyes, those windows to the soul that ancient traditions have revered for millennia. When souls who have known each other across lifetimes look into each other's eyes, something unmistakable passes between them. It's not just attraction or interest. It's a knowing that transcends personality, circumstances, and physical appearance. It's the recognition of essence, of the eternal being that exists beyond all temporal forms. These moments of recognition can be subtle or overwhelming. Sometimes it's a gentle nudge of familiarity, a sense that you've looked into these eyes before. Sometimes it's a thunderbolt of knowing that stops you in your tracks, a moment of such profound recognition that time seems to pause and the entire universe holds its breath. Understanding soul contracts transforms how we view every relationship in our lives, especially the difficult ones that have caused us the deepest pain and confusion. That family member who seems to misunderstand you at every turn, who criticizes your choices and questions your dreams. That romantic partner who broke your heart so completely you thought you might never recover. That friend who betrayed your trust when you needed them most. That colleague who undermines you at every opportunity. From the perspective of soul contracts, these aren't random cruelties inflicted by an uncaring universe. They aren't cosmic jokes or evidence that life is meaningless and relationships are dangerous. They are precisely calibrated experiences designed to catalyze your spiritual growth, carefully orchestrated opportunities for you to develop qualities that can only emerge through challenge and adversity. The soul that agrees to be your betrayer takes on one of the most difficult roles in the cosmic drama. They sacrifice their own reputation, their own peace of mind, their own chance for easy relationships to serve your evolution. They agree to bear the weight of your judgment, your anger, your resentment, all so that you might learn the transformative power of forgiveness, develop unshakable inner strength, and discover that your worth doesn't depend on others' treatment of you. The soul that becomes your difficult parent agrees to be misunderstood, criticized, and possibly hated by the child they love beyond measure. They take on the challenging role of the one who says no when yes would be easier, who pushes when supporting would be more comfortable, who allows you to struggle when rescuing would feel more loving. They sacrifice the easy joy of being the favorite parent in service of your becoming fully yourself. The soul that breaks your heart in romantic love might be teaching you the difference between attachment and love, between needing someone and choosing them, between seeking completion in another and offering your wholeness to a relationship. The pain of that loss might crack your heart open wide enough to love more people more deeply than you ever thought possible. This doesn't mean we should accept abuse, remain in toxic relationships, or suppress our natural emotional responses to being hurt. Understanding soul contracts doesn't require us to become doormats or martyrs. It means we can view even our most challenging experiences as sacred opportunities for growth, chosen by our own soul's infinite wisdom before we incarnated into the limitations of human perspective. When you understand this deeper purpose, forgiveness becomes not just possible but inevitable. How can you harbor hatred for someone who agreed, at the soul level, to play a difficult role in your spiritual education? How can you remain stuck in resentment when you recognize that your greatest challenges were actually your greatest teachers, carefully selected by your own higher wisdom? This shift in perspective doesn't happen overnight. It often comes in waves, in moments of clarity that break through years of hurt and confusion. You might be in the middle of an argument with someone and suddenly see beyond their personality to the soul that loves you enough to engage in this difficult dance. You might be processing an old wound and suddenly understand the gift hidden within the pain, the strength that emerged from the struggle, the compassion that grew from the heartbreak. As more souls begin to remember these pre-birth agreements, something extraordinary is happening on our planet. The quality of relationships on Earth is beginning to shift in subtle but profound ways. People are starting to approach their connections with greater compassion, deeper understanding, and profound reverence for the sacred dance they're all participating in together. When you remember that you chose your family, your soulmate, your challenges, and your opportunities, you step out of the role of victim and into the role of conscious participant in your own evolution. You begin to see every encounter as potentially sacred, every relationship as a doorway to greater understanding, every conflict as an opportunity for growth that your soul specifically selected for this lifetime. This remembering doesn't happen all at once in a blinding flash of cosmic consciousness. It comes in waves, in moments of clarity that gradually accumulate into a new way of being in the world. You might be in the middle of a heated argument with your spouse and suddenly see the soul behind their personality. Remember the love that exists beyond this temporary conflict. Recognize the growth that's emerging from this very disagreement. You might look at your child during a particularly challenging moment and for an instant see not just your offspring, but an ancient soul who chose you as their guide for this lifetime, who trusted you enough to incarnate into your care, who selected you specifically because your unique combination of strengths and weaknesses was exactly what they needed for their own evolution. You might embrace your partner and feel the echo of countless other embraces across time and space, sense the deep history you share, remember moments of connection that span lifetimes and dimensions. These glimpses of recognition transform ordinary moments into sacred encounters, everyday relationships into profound spiritual practices. As this awareness spreads, it creates ripple effects that extend far beyond individual relationships. Communities begin to function differently when people recognize each other as eternal souls playing temporary roles. Conflicts that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for collective growth. Differences that once divided become sources of mutual learning. The parent who remembers that their difficult teenager is actually an old soul who chose to challenge them approaches discipline with greater wisdom and compassion. The couple who recognizes their relationship as a sacred contract works through challenges with deeper commitment and patience. The friends who remember their eternal connection support each other's growth, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. So the next time you find yourself wondering why certain people came into your life, why some relationships feel destined while others feel like constant struggles, While your heart recognizes someone before your mind has time to process their presence, remember the council of souls. Remember the sacred agreements made in love and wisdom before you took your first breath in this lifetime. Remember that every person who touches your life, however briefly or profoundly, is there by agreement. Every love that lifts you to new heights of joy, every challenge that forces you to find strength you didn't know you possessed, every loss that teaches you to cherish what remains, all of it, chosen by the infinite wisdom of your own eternal soul, working in concert with the souls of all those who have agreed to share this incarnation with you. The veil between worlds grows thinner with each passing day. More souls are awakening to these ancient truths that were never really lost, only temporarily forgotten, so that the game of human existence could be played with full emotional investment. The question isn't whether soul contracts exist. The question is whether you're ready to remember the ones you made, to recognize the sacred nature of every relationship in your life, to see the divine choreography behind even your most challenging connections. In the space between heartbeats, in the silence between thoughts, in the love that exists beyond all understanding and transcends all human categories, your soul remembers. And it's calling you home to the truth of who you really are and why you chose to be here, with these specific people, in this specific time, for this sacred adventure in consciousness that we call human life. Which part of this ancient wisdom resonated most deeply with your soul? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights might be exactly what another soul needs to hear on their journey of remembering. Have you experienced moments of soul recognition that defied explanation? Have you felt the pull of karmic connections that transcended ordinary attraction? Your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's understanding of their own sacred contracts. And if you're ready to explore more hidden truths about consciousness, spiritual awakening, and the mysteries that exist beyond the veil of ordinary perception, subscribe to join our community of seekers who are pulling back the curtain on reality itself, one revelation at a time.